The last video was on a two-dimensional array, 4 by 9 if I recall correctly. This is on an array that's 2 by 3 by 5. And if we look, what we've got is we got pairs. That's the 2, like the A and the B, the C and the D. So inside these brackets you have 2's, 2, 2, like that. So that's the 2. Then these 2's are grouped in 3's. So here's one group, 2 groups, 3 groups. That's what the 3 comes from. And then the last dimension is the 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can extend this up and up and up, but this will demonstrate on how to create an array that's more than 2 by 2, or two-dimensional rather. Okay, so the z-axis is things like A, B, C, D, these groups of 2. The y are things like A, C, and E. So the first letter out of those, and then the last one, the groups of 5, are A, G, M, S, Y, like that. Okay, so those are our groupings. And down here is how we access those, and we'll print those out to show that we access them correctly. So here's where we begin. First of all, we're just going to let Python print this array in rough order, if you will. It's going to print it out the way it is. It's going to look an awful lot like this right here, just raw data. Then the next thing we're going to print is the x values where y and z are equal to 0. So we're going to print one column x 0 to 5, y is 0, and z is 0. So this will be like the A, G, M, S, Y. And we're going to do 4x in range 0 to 5. Here's our array name. So x is going to be the only thing that varies. Y and z will stay 0. So, okay, on to the next one. We're going to print y values where x and z are 0. So we'll make y the variable and x and z will stay static. And we're going to go from y in range 0 to 3. And out here our comment is print one row where x is 0, y is 0 to 3, and z is 0. And it will be things like A, C, E is the example. And here's where we do it. We print the array. Here's the array name. X is 0, y is the variable in range 0 to 3, and z is 0. Going on to the next one, we're going to print the z values where x and y are 0. So we're going to say for z in range 0 to 2, because remember they're just pairs, and so x and y are both 0, and z will run from 0 to 2, so we'll end up printing one row where z goes from 0 to 2, and it'll be things like those pairs A, B. In fact, we're only going to print one pair in this case. Okay, then we're going to print left to right, top to bottom, so we're going to go through and print everything. So this is x, y, and z. As you can see, z runs from 0 to 2, y from 0 to 3, and x from 0 to 5. And you can see down here our array name, x, y, and z are all going to change. And then the last one, we're going to print top to bottom, left to right. So instead of left to right, top to bottom, we're going to print top to bottom, left to right. And it's y, z, x. And you can see pretty much the same thing down here, same print statement. And then we're going to print done, and we will be done. So let's take a look at it. We'll run it and see what the results are. Boom, done. Okay, let's narrow this up so we can see what's going on. We'll go back up here to our array, go up here to the top, and we'll see if it did what we thought. Okay, so here's the raw data. Maybe you should make this a little bit bigger so we can see the array better. Okay, this is just the raw data from the table. Here's the A and the B, A and the B, C and the D, C and the D, E, F, G, H, and so on. I just printed the table, started right here, and just went through the table and printed it out. The next thing, x values where y and z are both equal to 0. Let's go back over here. We'll narrow this down again. There we go. So we got x values where y and z are 0, so we got our a, g, m, s, y. If we look at the array, a, g, m, s, y, yes, so we varied the x values and we kept the y and z the same. The next, y values where x and z are 0, so those are a, c, e as we predicted, a, c, and e. Okay, and we only looped through here one time, so we only got that top row. The next one, the z values where x and y are both equal to 0, and as we predicted, we got a and b. And then, the next to the last one, print left to right, top to bottom, a, b, c, d, e, f, g, like that, a, b, c, d, e, f, g down here, as we said we would. And then the last one is top to bottom, left to right, so it's a, g, m, s, y, a, g, m, s, y, b, h, b, h, n, t, z, b, h, n, t, z, and then c, i, o, u, c, i, o, u, 0, there's our 0, and so forth and so forth. So there's our multi-dimensional array, and you can just extend this out as much as you need, and that's how you access it. A little bit more complex than the last one, but still, if you follow through here, you can get the same type of output that you may need in your program. Well, that was it for today. I hope you find it useful and interesting in your Python Raspberry Pi programming.